A very good morning to you watching Westnile Television, wherever you're catching the show live from. You're most welcome. My name is Denis Oringi, and today is 20th of June 2023, and it is KOKOLIRIKO live on Westnile Television. Wherever you're catching the show live from, you're most welcome, and I'm here to give you a breadth of every information that you need to know from different parts of this country, wherever you will be catching us live from. And so those who are catching us live within Westnile, a very good morning to you, much as we are mourning the death of our own one of the judges on the Supreme Court bench right there. I am talking about Lady Justice Stella Arash Moko right there, who has gone to be with the Lord. And I will be giving you an update in regards to the burial arrangement and according to the tentative program that has really come out from the judiciary. She will be buried on Friday, and so more of the information I will be able to dive into, much as there's some issues to do with where exactly she's supposed to be buried. It is still remains a very big point of contestation, because the people of Nebi wants her to be buried in Nebi, and then also the people of her husband, they want her to be buried in Jumani. And so more of that, we shall be able to get to that and give you the updated information in regards to the burial arrangement for the Lady Justice, who was among the Supreme Court judges right here in our country, Uganda. Let me tell you, if you didn't know, I have to tell you that Lady Justice Stella Arash Moko was one of the highly placed person in this government from Western Sub-region. I would really say that her position puts her to be among the top officers from Westnile Sub-region serving in the government of the Republic of Uganda. Unfortunately, we have lost her right there. And more of these, I will be letting you know what is the update from Kasese in regards to the students who were butchered and murdered in cold blood right there. May their souls rest in eternal peace. The parents and the family members are doing the burial of the students who are suspected to have been killed by the ADF rebels right there. And so I will be diving into more of that, and also the issues to do with the constitutional and electoral reforms. You have to know that the civil society organizations are doing consultations with the different stakeholders on how we should have free and fair election in 2026, and whether the previous elections that we have been having in this country, Uganda, have not been free and fair. More of that I will be able to dive into. You have to know that the Western Regional Civil Society Network yesterday was in Yumbe having the consultation right there, hearing from different stakeholders in as far as elections in this country are really concerned. And so before I give you more detail in regards to those issues, let's start with some of the local stories that you missed yesterday during the Nile cast with Christian Okumuringa, and I'm here to make repetition of some of those stories that you need to know right there. So you have to know that Arua Resident City Commissioner Dr. Akelo Alice Opio has warned leaders and their followers in Ivu Division under Arua City over politics of hooliganism, hate speech and divisionism, saying it retards development. Let's have more on that story.
Arua Resident City Commissioner Dr. Akelo Alice has warned the leaders and their followers in Ivu Division and Arua City over politics of hooliganism, hate speech and divisionism, saying this retards development. Dr. Akelo was speaking during the review of the draft architectural design for the 3.7 billion Ugandan shillings administration block for Ivu Division Council at the division headquarters.
What pains my heart always is the people of Ivu fighting, the elders. They spend a lot of time fighting over useless issues. Ivu should be removed from the city. Ivu is you need to unite. Stop fighting each other.
Meanwhile, Malone Avutia, Ivu Division Mayor, reveals that as the leader of the Division Council, the negative mindset among some of the councillors and the residents has affected a lot of development activities, to the extent some of them reject government programs.
People have been thinking Ivu is too big. Even some of you have made political pronouncements that this is the biggest city in the world. When Kinshasa here is, I don't know how many times, you say this is the biggest council in Uganda. Mansara is 95 councillors. You are 84, 82, 83. have concluded this is the biggest council in the world, but the developments now are informing us that we need to be as big as we are.
Since the elevation of Arua municipality into a city and the subsequent amalgamation of the 7 sub-counties in Aivu County into Aivu Division, a section of the leaders have never appreciated the model of decentralization to the extent some of them are still demanding for a district status for Aivu. Frederick Dramadri, Westnile TV, Nilecast.
All right, thank you very much, Frederick Dramadri, for that report in regards to development in Arua City, more especially in Aivu Division. You heard from the Resident City Commissioner, Dr. Alice Akelo Opeo, in regards to the issues to do with hate speech, divisionism, saying that these loose talks are really affecting development in the city, more especially she has warned the elders of Aivu to really focus on development other than instead of spreading hate speech among themselves, and which is not good when it comes to the issues to do with development. And we believe that the elders and the councillors of Aivu Division have really listened to that, and we wish the project that the division is about to undertake a successful one right there for you. Let's have more story here. After all, that police have yesterday arrested a youth on suspicion of being a transgender in Pajuru Parish, River Sub-County, Arua District. And the suspect was arrested during a land dispute resolution meeting, wearing hearings and conducting himself like a woman. And so later the suspect was pardoned by the police on the negotiations of Honorable Shandini Luigi, the councillor representing the people of River Sub-County, to the district council. Let's have more on that.
Police in Vera constituency, Arua district, on the 17th of June 2023 arrested Adroni Ramujo Jembe Charles, a youth in Pajuru Parish, Arivo sub-county, on assumptions of being a transgender. The suspect was arrested during a land dispute resolution meeting while wearing earrings and conducting himself like a woman. Residents expressed their discomfort over the conduct, stating that such dress codes and behaviors can easily be tagged with promoting homosexuality, which violates the anti-homosexuality law recently passed by the Parliament of Uganda.
Let him explain.
Hours later, Adroni Ramijo Jembe Charles was abandoned by the police on negotiations of Honorable Chandini Luigi, the councillor representing the people of Arivu Sub-County, to the district council. Honorable Chandini urged the people of Arivu Sub-County and the entire country to dress and conduct themselves decently so that they do not fall victim to the relevant laws of Uganda.
Just forgive him, release him. We had not come for this, but that sounds a serious warning for all youths in Arivo Sub-County and in Uganda. Don't disguise yourself like a woman. You release him, let him come back, and we are forgiven him. But atomirama can he mumi pia farenzara? Baka ngami usu demayo lozira kesi ni government enzen. Agupiki ido agupibe okoki ido okobere bale ni ko Uganda dia. Badla yo zo kora madirie. Demo 7 abidi tia fari dio odi. Really dosi. Yamudwa. Tutai daraka. Yam tutai yo badirwa. Dozo andro anga ni maura bo ko ura leko. Eso power dia. Atomira mi gatangon. Mita o maru. Mani kesi nzemo 7 bava ne mabeko. Ninga fa sumi pie dikara. Ninga fa mo ko le sumi kera. Ninga di bitara. Ninga fa sumi ki tiri mile ki obo ko no balera. Ono fa ke mi ozara. Aye budire ba. Mi oro ja e bataro fa duro dia.
Youthful Adroni Ramujo Jembe Charles becomes the first person in the history of the entire Westnile to be arrested on suspicion of being a transgender before even the anti-homosexuality law was enacted. Osuta Yusuf, and Okumaringa Christine for Westnile Television, Nilecast.
All right, thank you very much. You have listened to the story and you have watched. And I have been having interactions with my guys here that if it's about arresting somebody because the person is wearing earrings, and then all the artists will be arrested. Because if you are to see, the majority of the artists that we do have here in Uganda, they do wear earrings before they jump on the stage, and that means that the police should always now stage a different shows that are being staged and arrest the artist wearing earrings and also pulling down their trousers, because some people really associating pull downs to issues to do with transgender and homosexuality right there. And so maybe it can really cause a very nice conversation and discussion. Yes, we are talking about anti-homosexuality law in our country, Uganda, but how possible is it for me to know that, for instance, that Dizon is a homosexual? What should I look in him? These are some of the things that we need to have a more conversation about. Yes, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni assented to the anti-homosexuality bill, but now the issues to do with having the discussion and making people understand what we have in the law is something that we need to take very serious. And I call upon the Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs to really do that role together with the Ministry of ICT in really, popularizing this law, because the law has been, has been assented to already by President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, and it has been kept in the archive. And the issues to do with dissemination is really very serious here. How can my mother be able to understand that homosexuality is a problem in this country? It is not needed in this country. And what are some of the bases that can be used by my grandmother and also my mother and also my old father in the village there to understand that, you see, yes, morally it is not right. You understand? But now, issues to do with the law, we need to make it go deep in these rural places. And the reason why this young gentleman was identified in a land conflict meeting, simply because I believe he does not know what the law says about homosexuality in this country. And so if the law can be, translated locally to the people in the rural places, that will be a very good one. Let me tell you something here. When we talk about the issue of wearing earrings, these issues are very common in our rural places. And I know and 80% of the youth we have in this country might not be understanding this anti-homosexuality law that the President of the Republic of Uganda said to. And so we need to invest a lot in really making the local people understand the laws in this country, not only the anti-homosexuality and even other laws that we do have. In most cases, we have our young people being taken to prison just because they do not know that this is illegal in our country, Uganda. And they always say, ignorance of the law has no defense. That is what they always use for those who don't know the law. Yet there are people who are sleeping on their job. There are people who have been assigned with that responsibility of making the law to be understood by each and every person. Having this law translated in local languages that we have in this country, Uganda. And it's quite unfortunate that our laws are all in English. And only we have few people who have gone to school, the rest have gone to the school. And they might not be able to understand what the law says about a certain act here in our country, Uganda. And so I believe those ministries charged with dissemination, translation, will be able to understand and do the needful. Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs has a lot of things to do in regards to making people, the citizens of this country, understand the laws that we have in this country. And so I believe my good friend, that is Honorable Norbert Mao, who is now the current Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, will be able to understand what I'm trying to talk here, and they will be able to do something. How many laws have been translated in Alur language? How many laws have been translated in Lugbarati language? How many laws have been translated into Madi language, Kakwa language, Aringati have been been told that there's a Ringati and also there's a Lugbarati. And so how many people who have not gone to school understand the laws of this country? Even the Uganda national anthem is supposed even to be translated in the local language, because not all know how to sing in English. There are others who do not understand the national anthem that is always sung in English, and so the local version should have also been, done, so that people get to understand, how you feel, the emotion that you will be able to have if you are singing something that is in praises of your country. And I would love to hear the local version of the national anthem in Alur, using the same lyrics. If the religious hymns have been translated in different languages, and when they start singing in Lugbarati, one of the hymns in the Anglican church, somebody who is an Alur will be able to use the tune to know that this tune is for this particular hymn. And why don't we also do the same with the national anthem? We have been in this country after independence for how many years that we have not had the national anthem translated in the local languages? Can we have the national anthem translated in local languages? It's quite unfortunate that some councillors even don't know how to sing the national anthem. And so this time now with the technology, they have to play it from the system for one to now just listen, not to sing. And for me, if I am the controller of the program, I will tell the DJ, please don't play. We have Ugandans here, let them sing. If they have gone to school, maybe for those who have not gone to school, those who went to the school, they might really need the music version of the national anthem, so that they just now follow the tune, not now the lyrics and the meaning of the national anthem right there. And so these are some of the things that we can really do as a country to ensure that each and every person loves his or her country. When we talk about patriotism, at what level are we talking about patriotism? Are we only talking about patriotism to those who went to school? What about to those who have not gone to the school? For those who went to the school, I mean, what are we telling them? Because they did not go further with their education. They stopped somewhere, and they might not be able to understand the word patriotism and what the educated one always talk about. And so the inclusiveness in our discussion, in our talks, in our encouragement should really be a priority. When we are communicating, who are we communicating to? We tend to leave out the bigger population, and we tend to only communicate to the few individuals who might have also got the concept of what you're talking about. And for me, if you have come to West Nile, more especially maybe Nebi, and you're communicating to the people of Nebi, I would really urge you, if you are not a war speaker, or you are not an Alur who does not speak and understand the language, if you're speaking, I would request you invite a translator to translate you there and then. I love what President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni does. President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni will never allow somebody to translate him after he has communicated. He will tell you, translate as I speak. And when somebody translates you as you speak, majority of the people will be able to understand, other than summarizing somebody's communication after the person has communicated. Not all those translators will be able to communicate exactly what you have said, but when you go concurrently with the translator, majority of the people will be able to understand. And if you're an Alur and you're speaking in Pakwash, you're speaking in Nebi, you're speaking in Zombo, please, I am just requesting you that if you want your message to go to the bigger population, make sure that you speak the local language of that area, then you are communicating to the people. But if you concentrate in only speaking English, you have to know that you're speaking to your classmates, you're speaking to the people that you work with, and they know what you're communicating already. In other words, when they have their phones, They will just be busy on their WhatsApp, and little attention will be paid to your communication. I am not a communication expert, but this is what I can tell you. If you want consultancy, then come to me privately, and we shall be able to have a discussion on how you can manage communication in your area where you operate and what you do. And that's what I can tell you this morning, that it is important that we need to look at the greater population to understand our communication. And so the issues to do with the translation of the laws of this country should be taken as a priority. I know currently the government of the Republic of Uganda is really looking for money for the financial year 2023-2024, 52.7 trillion. It's a very big amount of money, and no, the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs might have not really budgeted for that, but we call upon the civil society organizations to support the government in ensuring that these laws that we have in this country are properly translated and understood by each and every person. When I stand here, I stand on behalf of those who have not gone to school, because they need to understand. And on atiekane washnia ya pire tech niya ya shik mingo mi Uganda jubedu ko kare miduoko shik en idogma tung mi tedero karo ngati bedu ko kare menyang e kanongo chik eni jiromo bedu ko kare mi loke doki dogalur karo jumushi dungo bor ko somo mamegi gi bedu ko kare menyang watie ko jodongo moko megwa wegwa umego mwa magimedringo ko somo mamegi ka gijinyo gijiki pifo ento kwano dogalur ka kwano genyang maber pien gi somi uru majubedu ponjo dogalur ndeo e ka chik en ne jodwoko gi dog mi pasho amita wash irnia ya nongo toro chik ubeshite merenok nongo wen mabusi maotie kudigi ngomi Uganda nongo de gibedo nok eke peko tiene ya ko bankare jumunga yo chik ne gibedo kwa kaweshi ko domondo an ka giweshi ko domondo giweshi ni jumo nongo kwano chik ne de gingeyo de nongo de ya pol padano ma pol gingeyo chik nengo perango ma weshi ko mena weshi ko chik ma jawi ngom yori ka gota maseno bedo kare miketo shinge ne chwako ne yo umako ber chik umako ngoju bedo kare betor enu lembe me gamre shoko mon lembe eni no ngi Uganda kajunu wengi itieka ni ngiera nyaswa ikum jalwedu nyoitieka ne temne nyasona ikum nyakuwedu jumeke juchwele mabusi edong chik eni ne dana di mungeye dana manok engo ngati moko washine ya etich para chala tieka ne weche television ni nyuto ne dano samo ke andara weche ngoni fu dano zo ento watie ko jodongo magama ni teka na sholo getish mumak gibedo kare metimu ni neno ni ya kodishik makumeni dano bedo kare minyange tedero magi woti itedero ni nyuto lembene ni dano wati ko juro tela ma wayero ga yera ni amagi shidi parliament ni moko shik enegi giruoge bangwa ni nyuto shik enne iwa idog mwa mi paso ni nyang tororo ikum shik eni nyoke shik ne kage moke do mundo de pare shik ne jiki Kampala kusha wa winja kudiwi yamo ni yeti kumai ento telembe ne matirasha wanyangungo edong juro tela majuyeru ni ya shid malo kusha opar ni ya dano mo yeru otiongo ko jomosomo jomosomo ngode gitie ento pire tek ni o makiduok chien inyut lembe ne jomosomo ngoma gibedo kare mikiri kwir kare bedo kare meshid malo ni moko shike do mondo no ngoma kwa neno ni ya chik moko lembe cheke mo woku de ngomi Uganda eni watem kane duoko lembe ne idog mi pasho madano ma pol berego kare menyang somone etiongoni adano cheke mogisa umire igimi mchidri somo ni medri ko somo megi ni tuche luite chalo jomo kene tieka ne somo peko tong atabo toko ngenge waramo kwetongo ni aya jomo kende gisomo ngo gitie kindwa ento de gitie anyole mi ngomi Uganda kane do kitenge mi shika jomako gi ko bankar we winjo kudi odi pidu jwasini aya ngeyo shikongo otiongo lembe majoro mobedo kare mitiu kude ni gonyi pien ya ngeyo ngo shigne umako sheke shidi iod mangish kare beru kare mi pado ber mane beru kare furu poto ni gamente ginuke to wati ku wen mabuse lengo mi Uganda pole uti jumunge shigne ngo telemene ya gisomo de ngo no mako dwan wajumo somo wobedu kare mi duoko lembere igi ko doga lur ko dog logbara ko do madi ko do kakwa ko dog matong mutingo mi Uganda kar dano sheke bedu ko kare bengeyo abedu kare mi washini ya kajute kene wero lo bar madit mi ngomi Uganda wer mi woro ngomi Uganda dana di munge wer ene ko doga luri ngamu translating wer ene ko doga luri donc isko bankare kay yik mokotie jutuge makoto mondo edo kadi ng'eyo ngode nu gibishungu da attention asu manda kibibedo kare ming'amo dhogi ni wero ko kite manongi winjo ko juteka ni wero ko en total lembenesha inyang chungo jurudini washini ya wer pere tek itenge miponjo jiri ka lega peri ilego ichakongo ku wer mifoyo mani pakurot mongo minyangi yetororo inwangi lega peri nede nwangi lege kore ikatoli wa washine ya ngab mu wer mane bede ukare mi bede lega elego wangario edon kanu ngjutie kani wer mi woro ngomi Uganda dano mapol ginyango ngwete weje konpa weje tiango inwangi ne ya weje ndu etini jumu ngeo do mondo kende edong wanenu kit mo makwa bedu kare meneno ni ya lembe mabe wokre kingomi Uganda ko lembe matongtong magamente bedu kare me wokude jodu akogi idog madano romo bedu kare menyang no ngabedu kan yerne kaiti jalur mi junam jalur mi padire jalur mi rokoro e kaiti kan wecho ivulu ak dano mi kabedu ma ennegi timira kisa wechira ko dogalur wek dano magingeo go galuri gibed ko kare menwango lembe na no jawod jote kan nyuti gi ko do mondo ento kanite kan wecho do mondo mengi ngo do galur nyengi ngo do junam timira kisa wach ngat mutie kan local lembe peri no elok lembe peri sawa esha ndundu no ngitie kan wecho ko bankare mapolo no ngone ka ngati wecho kanu yuluongo ngati moko bino odwok lembe ne dog alur kardano nyang ngati mabinu kadwa ko lembe esha ne ramo lembe na rama nyutongo tororo lembe mi bedu kar mi yero ku kite mi bedu kar mi yero kude don kawati kane wesho pire teknia makwa neno ilembe enegi makwa ngeyo ne yoti kane wesho vudano mosomo ngo mako ajikane kayik ne odar dano sheko dog manongi yenko lemba shell mo akudi bengi eshalo lembe mi biblia eshalo lembe pa Kristo maju washnia ya lembene o ay kudi biblia eno lembe pa mongo kar kana jikine de dar de wa washnia ya eno lembe mo ay kudi bongo Oringi Denis ongo lembe mo ay kudi bongo Oringi actively and majority voters are those who never went to school. When you are there, think about them, and as soon as you have passed anything, any bill, make sure that the local people understand that bill that you have passed as it awaits a consent from President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni into law. As soon as it has been, assented to by the President of the Republic of Uganda into law, make sure that try to push as much as possible for this law to be translated in local languages. All of us, we have our local languages, and so there's no way you are going to tell us, you see, I don't understand Alud, I don't speak Alud. No. Remember when you were campaigning, you campaigned in local language, and so can you make the same discussions that you always make at Parliament to be understood in local languages by the people who voted for you, who are the majority? And that's what I can really tell you this morning. Let's go with more stories right this morning. You have to know that yesterday police in Arua City arrested a local journalist named, that is Opio John Paul, a radio reporter attached to Arua 1FM, was on duty covering a protest staged by students of Muni University as a result of poor meals and starvation at the university. The protest was held outside Arua 1FM premises, and police swung in action, harassed and arrested these radio journalists. Let's have more on this.
The police in Arua City today were seen harassing a journalist named Opio John Paul, a radio news reporter attached to Arua 1FM just outside the station premises in Arua City. Opio, who was on duty covering a protest staged by students of Moni University who had camped just outside the radio premises over what they said is as a result of poor meals and starvation at the university. Josephine Angotia, the Westnile Police Public Relations Officer, says Opio was mistakenly identified to be as one of the rioters by the officers.
It's true that I got a call from Arua 1 that one of their journalists was arrested by our patrollers near the gate of Arua 1 offices. And indeed he was brought to CPS. So after confirming that the journalist was brought, I got in touch with the DPC, who actually handled the matter. As I speak, the DPC has already ordered for him to be set free, and then he is trying to handle other remaining matters administratively. So the matter is being handled, and these officers are the one actually to prevent students of university from demonstrating against their administration. So they are actually going to ensure that their demonstrations did not result into something more violent than what was there. So basically, that's what they were doing, and the students happened to, I think, come to Arua 1, and they got mixed up with the journalists, and in the process, they were all arrested. So I can't tell why they were arrested, but I suspect maybe they must have thought that these journalists were the students. They must have confused them, and that's why they arrested all of them. But the good thing is, through communication, through sharing of information, through cooperation, DPC has already ordered for the release of the journalist, and other things is now handling administratively.
Hafiz Bakid, the news editor at the radio station, expressed his disappointment by the way his colleague was maltreated by the officers.
So I was on duty on my laptop. So suddenly I heard people rushing outside the gate. It is just outside the workstation. So reaching there, I found a police patrol car with full of armed policemen that just parked by the roadside. And to my dismal surprise, I saw one of my colleagues being kicked and eaten using the baton of the gun and being fixed under the chair, the table. Those are the police officers who seemed to be on duty. And then when I humbly inquired what was happening, so no one will listen to me. So I bothered to explain myself that this is just one of my reporters. I need to understand what is happening. Instead, they were holding him by the neck and kicking him and putting him under the actually manhandling and pushing him using the leg and kicking the neck and pushing him under the. So I said, this is not supposed to be, the way you're supposed to be handling a journalist. He's a journalist. So in trying to identify myself, the police officers also started threatening me. And about the background is that this reporter, John Paul, came to my desk.
Oshuta Xavier, a sales executive of the station who was also at the scene of crime, similarly expressed his dismay and appealed for proper identification of suspects by the officers on duty.
The journalist was identified by the colleagues and the friends who were around. But what happened exactly was not what was expected. You realize the way I am wearing my ID, if you have seen my name, you have seen everything me. That already shows to you that I am so and so. But I think this young man was taken to be a student and was again arrested. However, what beats my understanding is how the police treats people. You cannot carry a person who is grown up and who is sitting on a chair and you want to fix him under the chair. So I don't understand how that happens, but in that event, it wasn't a good one. I think police should reform from that and also do a proper identification. Otherwise, one day we will only come to be arrested when it is we call it misidentification, and in the end, a person suffers damages for nothing. Like now, what OPO has gone through, the emotional trauma, who caters for that? Do we have that? And one of them was actually by a police officer by names of Angoyo was saying that is what a work hazard. But work hazards are paid for, as far as I know. If I was in a mining place, I know I would be protected with some gears. But however, here there was no protection. You cannot push a person under the chair when you even rightly know this is a journalist. I don't know what rights we are trying.
As the relationship between the Uganda police and journalists continue to grow far-fetched, what exactly can be done to bridge this gap that is currently taking shape in the country? Farish Majid, Westnile TV, Nilecast.
All right, a very quite unfortunate scenario right there for the journalists and also us, the journalists working in this country. I know this is not the first time that we have witnessed security forces, trying to manhandle journalists that we do have in our country, Uganda. But this seems to be exceptional case, and we really urge the police force to really, sit down and harmonize some of these issues. It's not a good one. So if you have got Denis Oringi mixed up with the students, I think it also comes back to me and the media house that I work for. How have they equipped me with all the necessary gear for me to be easily identified? And in most cases, covering riots and protests is not something that is simple. With the experience that I have, I think this also goes to the media houses that we need to see, equip our journalists with all the gadgets that are needed, the protective, the helmet, the bulletproof, and then all the necessary, tools that these person can easily be used for identification. The press jacket, the helmet, because in that process they can easily release the bullet, and you know what a bullet means. Once it catches you, you will be going to argue with the angels whether to go to heaven or to go to hell, as the religious always tell us. And so that is a very nasty scenario that I pray that we should not really get into. And so I thank very much the management of Arua One, and also the leadership of the West Nile Press Association for really having the negotiation, and also the leadership of the police for understanding and reaching that amicable conclusion that so the journalist released right there. And so if you don't know Denis Oringi, once you have met me, first ask me that what is your name and what is your occupation. Yes, when we are in the field gathering news, you don't prepare sometimes, but you find yourself covering news, and in that it requires you to really understand that situation. If you're a police officer, I know you have been trained properly. Please, why don't you come to the journalist, come to this person and ask this person, yes, what is your name? I see you taking pictures and taking videos. Are you a journalist? Yes. And if the person is a journalist, there are identification that can be used to identify this particular person from others. And so we need to look into that. I think last week the UNESCO, together with that is Uganda Journalists Union, they were able to organize some training on the safety of journalists in our country, Uganda, safety of journalists in West Nile here. And we did hear commitments from the forces that they will be able to cooperate and work together with the journalists, and they were able to confirm that they have never gone to the extreme with the journalists that we have in this region, and that should be the spirit. We need to continue the working relationship. We need one another. The police need us. We also need the police. And so journalists and police, they are all doing the same role. By the way, they are all service providers. They are all working towards ensuring that we have a very peaceful country. And so if the students of Muni University are protesting because of poor meals and they are starving at the university, I expected the police to guide these students on what they're supposed to do, but not to manhandle them, because it is enshrining the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda freedom of association, and also freedom of speech and freedom to demonstrate. By the way, you have freedom to demonstrate so long as you notify the relevant authorities of your demonstration. So long as the demonstration is peaceful, it is acceptable according to the Constitution of this country. And so I expected the police first to gather these students and hear from them that, yes, I see you want to protest. Have you got permission maybe from the police for you to demonstrate? Because recently when President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni assented to the anti-homosexuality bill into law, the students of different universities in Kampala took to the streets. They even marched, demonstrated up to Parliament of the Republic of Uganda. They were guided by the police, for your information. And so why do you manhandle somebody who is even starving? The person is being poorly fed, according to what they have said. These are not my words. Why do you really manhandle them instead of guiding them? Remember, these are your children, for your information. These are your children. The police officers are trying to do this work. These are your students. So assuming that your child was among the students who were protesting, and he has informed you that, Dad, look here, Government has not given us money for the last 3 months, for instance. And we are not eating at the university. We are lacking the basic needs that we are supposed to have at the university. How would you feel as a parent? I want us to understand it that way. And so I know the students might have not followed the right procedures in demonstrating and showing out their grievances. I expected the police to really guide this one. Apart from manhandling them, putting them under that share of the of the police patrol vehicle, and you know how hot it is and squeezed under that chair is, and that is one of the violation of human rights. And so I believe police should get to understand some of the issues here in our country and operate within the law. There is a law that guides. And remember, when you're singled out as an individual, you will face it as an individual. You will not face it as a police force. You will face it as an individual. So we need to really draw that line properly when we are doing our operation. All of us, we are human beings, and we need to understand one another so that we really live a life that is worth living here in our country. Remember, all of us, we are just on our roads to eternity. We are not going to continue staying in this world, year in, year out. Time will come for us to expire, and we will go to rest, and we leave this world for others who will come after us. And so when we are still alive and living in this world, we need to understand this, that we need one another and we need to coexist for us to live a very fruitful life in this world where God has said we should live. And so let's get to issues to do with the waste management has continued to increase due to increase in population in the region attributed to large influx of refugees in the region. And so key stakeholders held the Westnile Regional Dialogue to address the challenges, funding gaps and best practices of waste management in local governments in the Westnile region. And so let's have more on that report.
Action Aid International Uganda, together with the Westnile local government leaders, held a regional dialogue to address challenges, funding gaps and best practices of waste management in the local government at the White Castle Hotel in Arua district.
Plastic waste, that is a major challenge. Colleagues, I want to challenge you. I don't know who bewitched us as Uganda, that we think that life cannot be dealt with without polythene paper. Who has convinced us as Africans or Ugandans or as people of West Nile that we can just live with waste and nobody is bothered? That in town somebody starts selling tomatoes and other things besides waste, and not understanding what are the implications of this. Somebody is cleaning fish and throwing it in the same place. You go in the abattoir, we all get the meat from there. It's like nobody is concerned.
Our schools, the waste management is very poor, and nobody takes care of it. It cuts across West Nile. Nobody takes care of it. Please, local governments, step up in issues of managing wastes. Arua City is a metropolitan. It's for everybody in this region and in this country. I don't know if the law permits certain conditions to be put in as far as markets are tendered. Because we needed laws. When you're tendering out a market, you should tell the one who is taking this tender that ABCD is the condition for waste management. It is very absurd when you come to Arua City, where local, ordinary, poor women like me are paying high market dues, and nobody is taking care of our health in terms of waste management. One of these days we will strip ourselves as women. We will strip ourselves naked to demand for attention on waste management. It affects us as women. The mismanagement of the waste in Arua City market affects us, the women, more. Because when you go on the streets, most of the vendors there are women and they are paying taxes. So we need to demand attention in a special way, if not addressed.
When what is taken into the central government as local revenue or investing, in their proposal, I think they did not have a take of how to control the cameras and how these bottles should be taken away from us here. Government should first of all say How should you take out? If you want to invest in this, how do you control the spread?
Community engagement. We have talked, we have laid strategies, policies, these are not working. Community engagement on solid waste management. That's the way to go. Right now you move in any village, any trading center, what will welcome you is a heap of what? Solid waste management not attended to. You go to any household, a corner, just get a heap of what? Solid waste not attended to. Now, my point I want to raise here is, as Westnile, can you set aside our differences? Can we agree on a regional reaction point so that we all implement? And the action point I want to bring here is, let's all agree as Westnile, we agree on the time frame, we move to our communities, we tell them how we can put our hand together to manage our waste.
But also another thing that is causing a lot of issues are what? Drainage plans in our towns. Drainage plans we do not have. We have one town also like mine in Parongo, where water can flow from all corners and go in one place. Now you can be sure after rain, all the fields and other things will remain and will be dumped there. It's also one thing that we need to think about as we are growing from semi-urban to urban or from municipality to cities. How are we going to manage the drainage system of this? Because it's one of the major causes also.
Westnile region continues to face an increase in waste due to the increase of population and the recent influx of refugees in the refugee hosting districts. Westnile local government leaders have been urged to ensure community sensitization on waste management and enforce proper management practices. Okumuringa Christine for Westnile Television, Nowcast.
All right, thank you very much, Christian Okumuringa, for that report in regards to garbage management. Remember, more refugees keep coming into the city and more waste is being generated, and so we need to look at the sustainable, strategies of how can we really manage the waste being generated by the increasing population in the city is what you need to know. All right, before we go for a break, let's have the last story this morning. A section of leaders in Pokwero Sub-County, Pakwash District are calling upon a government to intervene in renovating Pokwero Eclipse Monument. The leaders assert that government has abandoned the site since the world viewed a total solar eclipse in the area in 2013. Let's have more on that report. I think you can really see that is the monument that was built in commemoration of that is the total solar eclipse that was viewed at Owenyi Primary School in Pokwero Sub-County, that is Pakwash District. And in 2013, all of us witnessed the world viewing the total solar eclipse from Owenyi Primary School in Pokwero, that is Sub-County, Pakwash District. By then, Pakwash was not yet a district, it was still under Nebi District, and Pokwero was still a parish under Panyango Sub-County. And so I can remember vividly. And for how many people know the date? If you do not know, it was on 3rd of what? Of November. That is something that you need to know, that the chicken, the goats on that day was all pushed inside in the house, and the children were locked. Goats, chicken were all locked. I think the living things that, the animals that were left to roam around were children 18 years and above to be moving around. By that time, when they say that now time for the total solar eclipse is now about, now children were all locked inside, and in the compound you don't even see chicken, because they collected chicken, because they said that when chicken viewed that thing, the chicken, chicken will really, go blind, and the goats.
Time in 2013, when the event took place. We had a very high hope. We thought this monument would bring for us even the tourists from around the world. But at the end, the government did not take it seriously. And as you look at it, they have left it just like that. We thought maybe when it is repaired and it is enclosed, it will bring for us some resources from other people who come and view the place. So the other time, the district had a plan of renovating the place. I understand from our district councillor said they had made a certain budget around 90 million so that they would actually repair the place and then close it so that when somebody comes, it is opened, it is not left open like that, whereby anybody can come and access the place. But up to now, we have not received any message from the district.
These funds are now dwindling and the demand from the schools are very many. So as a technical team in the district, together with the executive committee, we prioritize these projects when we receive them. And normally, this support which comes to the district is properly channeled and
Okay. All right, we do apologize for that technical glitch right there. Dear viewer, thank you very much for being with us right this morning. We do appreciate you very much. My name is Denis Oringi. Let's go for a break, and when we come back, we still have more for you. We'll be diving into what we have in the dailies today, the Daily Monitor and the New Vision. Have the best of your morning.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
Get more for less on Star Times this Easter season. Cartoon channel for best children entertainment. New global series. Local drama on Makula TV and football all around the world. Simply make weekly or monthly subscription and enjoy upgrade to the next bouquet. For classic or super bouquet customers, subscribe for a month and enjoy 5 days extra. Family time with Star Times. Star Times is regulated by UCC. Get more for less on Star Times this Easter season. Cartoon channel for best children entertainment. New global series. Local drama on Makula TV and football all around the world. Simply make weekly or monthly subscription and enjoy upgrade to the next bouquet. For classic or super bouquet customers, subscribe for a month and enjoy 5 days extra. Family time with Star Times. Star Times is regulated by UCC.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
All right, well, we're back here still watching Westnile Television. My name is Denis Oringi and it's KOKOLIRIKO Live. And today is 20th of June 2023. And remember, today is the World Refugee Day for those who do not know. And so the whole world is celebrating the refugees and commemorating the day today. And so for Arua district, the day is going to be in Invepi, and also other districts hosting refugees have not really, left the day just like that. It is being commemorated, and so that is what you need to know. The World Refugee Day is today, and so we commemorate together with the refugees. And so World Refugee Day, what happens exactly during World Refugee Day is what you need to know. 2023 today is what you need to know right there for you for 2023 World Refugee Day. 20th is what you need to know right there. 20th of June is World Refugee Day, and why should we, commemorate this day is something that you need to know. And remember, United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, that UNHCR, is one key, partner that is working left and right to see that the refugees are really catered for. Each year on 20th June, the world celebrates the strength and courage of people who have been forced to flee their home country to escape conflict or persecution. And so the 2023 theme for World Refugee Day is Hope Away from Home, is what you need to know right there. And so World Refugee Day is an international day designated by United Nations to honor refugees around the globe. It falls each year on 20th June and celebrates the strength and courage of people who have been forced to flee their home country to escape conflict or persecution, is what you need to know. And so what is the theme of the World Refugee Day 2023? This year's World Refugee Day focuses on the power of inclusion and solutions for refugees. Hope Away from Home, a world where refugees are always included, including refugees in the communities where they have found safety after fleeing conflict and persecution, in the most effective way to support them in restarting their lives and enable them to contribute to the countries hosting them. And it is also the best way to prepare them to return home and rebuild their countries when conditions allow them to do so safely and voluntarily, to thrive if they are resettled to another country. And so what can you do? You can give and support creation for the scholarship for the young refugees by standing together with them and also supporting them. Remember, all of us, we are refugees, and at any point we can become refugees, but currently we still, as a country, we are welcoming the refugees from the southern part of South Sudan, from the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, and also from other countries. The people who are being persecuted and they run away from their home country, getting into another country. So those are refugees that we need to, celebrate together with the day, as it has been really put by the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, UNHCR, right there. And so Invepi is where the celebration is taking place for, that is Terego district, and also the UNHCR Arua office organizing the day right side, celebrating together with the refugees in the settlements that we do have right there. Let's get to the Daily Monitor this morning and give you some of the stories that you need to know in regards to the stories we have in the dailies in this country. Issues to do with COVID on increase is what you need to know, that government reports rise in COVID-19 cases. The report indicates that the positivity rate increased from 0.8% in April to 3.5% in May, is what you need to know right there for you. And then also United Nations chief urges prevention in terror fight, is what is being really put right there. The United Secretary General Antonio Guterres said on Monday yesterday that countries must tackle the underlying conditions that can lead to terrorism, such as poverty, to prevent such violence from spreading, is what you need to know. Quoting him, saying that while we have made some significant gains over the years, terrorism and violent extremism continue to take root and grow. He told a conference on the subject in the New York, Guterres called on nations to stand as one against this global threat right there. And quoting him further, saying that Al-Qaeda and Daesh affiliates in Africa are rapidly gaining ground in places like the Sahel and probing southward toward the Gulf of Guinea. He said, also citing the brutal legacy of the so-called Islamic State group IS in Syria and Iraq, and so neo-Nazi and white, supremacist movements are fast becoming the primary internal security threat in a number of countries. Guterres added right there, and so he says, expressing that extremism preys on the multiple crises impacting the world, from the food and energy crisis to climate change and the spread of hatred online. Guterres said we must focus on the most effective approach to ending this menace, prevention. And prevention means more than just foiling attacks and disrupting plots. It means addressing the underlying conditions that can lead to terrorism in the first place, such as poverty, discrimination, disaffection, weak infrastructure and institutions, and gross violations of human rights. And Guterres also insisted that the fight against terrorism must respect human rights, including the repatriation of foreign jihadists and their families still held in camps following the defeat of IS. Reiterate my call for all member states to help accelerate the peace of repatriation as an urgent priority. This is a matter of human decency and compassion, and it is also a matter of security, is what you need to know right there. And that is what Guterres, the United Nations chief, can really let you can tell you in regards to issues to do with terrorism in the world. And so let us address the underlying issues in regards to terrorism. And here he was able to mention that poverty is one of the biggest issue in regards to terrorism in the world. And so how can we join our hands together to fight poverty? Because if you're poor, your mind will not be settled, and you will be thinking of how can I really take over what the other person has. And so if we can really address poverty in the world, that will really serve a great deal of in regards to fighting terrorism in the world that we live in. And this is in regards to also what the country witnessed just over the weekend when over 40 students were murdered right that side of Kasese, and we say may their souls rest in eternal peace right there. Concerns as suspected cattle rustlers wreak havoc in Agago district, and I can remember last year the Prime Minister of the Republic of Uganda, Right Honorable Robin Anabanja, together with the State Minister for Northern Uganda, Honorable Kwesi Grace Freedom, together with other ministers were able to go to Agago, and they held a community dialogue. And the residents of Agago district were asking government to give for them firearms so that they can really use to fight back the cattle rustlers who are really wreaking havoc in their areas right there. And so leaders in Agago district have condemned the rising killings of residents in the area by unknown assailants. In a span of 19 months, unknown assailants armed with guns, bows and arrows have attacked business persons and farmers in the district, resulting in the death of 46 people according to official statistics. So the victims included those found digging, sleeping in their houses, or going about their businesses. The most recent attack occurred on Friday night when gunmen raided 3 different homes in Ter Kato, a village, Lera Kato sub-county, robbed an unspecified amount of money, killed 3 people and injured 4 others, is what you need to know. So the victims have been identified as James Ononyo, 18 years old, John Omwana, 45, and Gabriel Oyugi, 35 years old, and Mr. Charles Ojok, Mr. Okidi, and that is Christine Lanyero, who have been receiving treatment at Dr. Ambroseli Hospital in Kalao. And so the area members of Parliament, John Amos Okot for Agago North, David Lagen of Agago County, and Ms. Beatrice Akori, District Woman Member of Parliament, all visited the scene of crime and condemned the killings of innocent people. Okot blamed the attack on cattle rustlers from Karamoja and urged the government to change the approach of handling the terrorists. And so the district chairperson, Leonard Ojok, said that Karamojong warriors are now terrorists and the government must use maximum force to end the killings of our people. And so the leaders say despite heavy deployment of security personnel that is in the sub-counties bordering Karamoja sub-region, no Karamojong warrior had been killed so far. All of them always escaped safely without getting injured or killed. And this is according to the LC5 chairperson of that is Agago district, that's none other than Leonard Ojok. And so with all the efforts the Karamojong warriors have continued committing atrocities, and this will go down in history as the biggest failure of President Museveni to give peace to the people of Agago district. This is according to Leonard Okot, the LC5 chairperson, Agago district. And so the UPDF 5th Division spokesperson, Major Stephen Tumwesije, who confirmed the Friday's incident, said the army and sister security agencies were pursuing the assailants. And so, quoting him, saying that we condemn in the strongest terms this heinous act and call upon the public to be vigilant and report any suspicious person behind this act, he said in an interview at the weekend. And so, working with the sister security agencies, the culprits will be brought to book. We are still committed to our mandate of protecting people and their properties. He added, in April, lawmakers urged government to boost security in northeastern cattle corridor to curtail the rustlers that continue to wreak havoc in the region. And so the background of this conflict in you need to know that since 2021, at least 1,049 cattle, 2,614 goats, and 8 donkeys have been raided from 8 sub-counties in Agago district. The most affected sub-counties are those bordering Karamoja region as Lirakato, Luyue, Ajali, Adilang, Lapono, Paimol, Laberabong, and Omia, Pashua. Hundreds of livestock farmers in Agago have been forced to migrate to Pade over the persistent cross-border attacks. Robert Okidi, the chairperson of Ajali sub-county, said there is a stretch of land where the rustlers hide because there is no security personnel deployed in the area. And so I believe that the government of the Republic of Uganda will be able to really, work on this and address this issue to do with insecurity that is in Agago in regards to cattle rustling that continues to wreak havoc on the persons in Agago district right there. Agago district borders, that is Karamoja region to the east, and after Agago we have the Abim, then Abim we get to that is Otuke district for those who do not know that particular stress, and then after Agago district we get to Kitgum. This is what you need to know. After Kitgum then we come to that is Lamor, and then Lamor we come back to Gulu district, and that is those are some of the districts that are really bordering southern part of South Sudan and also the eastern part of this country from the Karamoja Asholi sub-region right there for you. And so the other time President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni was able to camp that is in Otuke, and he was able to have meetings with the leaders from Alao, Ashuli and Teso sub-region in looking, the meeting was aimed at looking for solutions to the problem of cattle rustling that continues to affect the people right there. Masaka Hospital, 12 billion maternity complex lies idle is what you need to know right there. That the maternity ward that was constructed at a tune of 12 billion by the government of the Republic of Uganda is idle is what you need to know right there. So the management of Masaka Regional Referral Hospital is seeking a 2.6 billion from the Minister of Finance to operationalize the child and maternity complex. According to Charles Tumushimwe, the hospital administrator, the construction of the complex was completed by a contractor, that is Tirupati Development Uganda Limited, 9 years ago. However, the Minister of Finance has not yet released the 2.6 billion for equipping the facility, and paying for utilities is what you need to know right there. Tumushimwe said the primary focus is on securing the money for utilities as they patiently wait for 2 billion for equipment. And so Amina Nabu Kenya, a caregiver to that is Shakira Nabwesi, who is due to deliver, said the now complex will decongest the maternity ward, and so the 12 billion maternity complex at Masaka Regional Referral Hospital is still idle. And as you have heard from the hospital, that is the director, he says that they are asking for that is 2.6 billion from Minister of Finance to operationalize the maternity complex right there at Masaka Regional Referral Hospital is what you need to know. So that affect very much also health service delivery in the country. If a facility of that tune is idle and is not being put into use, and then you know that as a country we are losing a lot, and this need to be worked on. And then 330 Busenyi teenagers impregnated in 3 months is what you need to know. That 330 Busenyi teenagers impregnated in 3 months. I think this is now I do not know what to say. I think it is getting out of hands. That means that each and every day the young girls are being really impregnated by those who know that it is not good to impregnate a young girl right there for you. Crackdown on unlicensed fishermen enters the 3rd week is what you need to know. The government of the Republic of Uganda is on a crackdown of people who are not licensed to do fishing in this country, Uganda. The Fisheries Protection Unit under the Uganda People's Defense Forces has impounded an assortment of fishing gear, vehicles and motorcycles from unlicensed fishermen and dealers across the country. Is what you need to know, that according to Dr. Deus Sentimba, the FPU spokesperson, the crackdown followed a directive by the State Minister for Fisheries, Ellen Adoa, in line with the implementation of a government policy against those fishers and fish transporters operating without valid license. And so, quoting him, saying that we started with the Kalangala Islands and our operations are going to spread districts on Lake Victoria and other water bodies, he said right then. So those without valid licenses should not risk going to the lake or transporting fish, because we are going to arrest them and impound whatever we find them with. On June 1st, Minister Adoa announced a nationwide crackdown on unlicensed fishermen following expiry of the grace period. In April, the ministry extended the deadline for licensing of fisheries activities by 2 months, which elapsed on May 31st. And so the ministry had earlier set March 31st as the deadline for issuing new licenses this year. And Sentimba said they are yet to compute the value of the impounded items. He said an estimated 1.5 million people are directly involved in fishing activities, but a good number of them, especially in Busoga sub-region, are still reluctant to acquire licenses. And to get licensed, a fisherman is required to provide a tax identification number, which is obtained from any nearest Uganda Revenue Authority office, or national identification cards for nationals and passport for non-Ugandans. Available statistics at the Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries indicate 14,600 boats had by March been registered on Lake Victoria, of which 9,306 are licensed, accounting for 64% of the registered boats. On Lake Hyoga, 5,515 boats are licensed of the 6,550 registered, while on Lake Albert, only 1,625 boats are licensed of the 5,075 registered. Only 552 boats, 47.9% of the 1,153 registered on minor lakes such as Edward and George have been licensed. And so the ministry had earlier set shillings 100,000 as annual license fee for small boats and 200,000 for large-scale fishing boats. However, effective last year, the ministry announced new fees, and any vessel operating on lakes such as Victoria, Albert, Hyoga, Edward, George and Wamala is supposed to pay 100,000, while vessels on Lake Naki Valley and other minor lakes are charged 50,000. Is what you need to know right there for you. And so for those who are doing fishing, make sure that you comply with the policy that government of the Republic of Uganda is implementing through the Ministry of Animal Fisheries and Agriculture right there for you. And so we believe that this will really go well with the fishermen that we have on these lakes that we have in this country. And that is something I felt it is important that I should be able to bring to your attention. And I know some people are interested in understanding what is happening in our country in regards to the attack that took place right that side, but allow me to give you more stories from the Daily Monitor right this morning for you that you need to know right there. And so on the issue of other national importance that you need to know here is that law against sale of blood in the offing. There is a law that is being worked on in that will really help to control the sale of blood in the different hospitals that we do have. And so what is this law trying to say? And so the Uganda Blood Transfusion Services under the Ministry of Health is proposing a law stipulating tough penalties for anyone caught selling blood. The development, they say, will be key in addressing the persistent concern of health facilities and workers putting a price on blood which is donated freely by individuals. And so the revelation was made by, that is, Uganda Blood Transfusion Services officials during the launch of a blood donation drive supported by the National Social Security Fund to collect 3,000 units of blood in Kampala yesterday. And so experiences by patients confirmed by officials at that is Uganda Blood Transfusion Services revealed that they are forced to pay for blood in some health facilities, yet it is released free of charge from the blood banks. And so Ambrose Mugume, the senior blood donor recruiter at UBTS, said the absence of a specific legislation has resulted in many of those caught in the act to walk away scot-free, is what you need to know. And so that means that if this law will be worked on, this will really help many people. Remember, we have very many people who are in need of blood, and this blood that they get freely from people is sold to those that are in need of the blood. Bagara murder suspect denied charges of kidnap and murder is what you need to know. Then man earns salary for a year using forged letters is what also you need to know. Then how man lured 2 women to their death is also another story that you can get in the Daily Monitor. And then government reports rise in COVID-19 cases. And then Eid Adhuha set for June 28th is what you need to know. Our brothers and sisters in the Muslim faith, I think on 28th of June I will be joining you people to celebrate Eid Adhuha, and this will be on 28th. That's according to the revelation that has been made right here. And so the new army leadership in Karamoja starts community meetings is also what you need to know. Then the 20 collaborators arrested over Kasese school attack is also one of the stories in the Daily Monitor. And then group blamed in Kasese school attack funded by Islamic State. And so these are some of the stories that are now coming up in regards to what happened in Kasese, where we lost over 40 students. Government spent 514 billion more than it had budgeted for May is what you need to know, that 514 billion was spent in the month of May, higher than what was budgeted for in the month of May. Ugandans bury more victims of horrific Kasese school massacre is also what you need to know. Then nominees promised Oyam voters better services. Remember, there is also a by-election that is coming up in Oyam North to replace the slain that is Charles Engola, and his son has been nominated already on NRM ticket, has been selected by NRM to represent the party in this by-election. Then MPs to push for answers over Kasese attack as parliament resumes today. And then midwives in remote Ugandan villages demand better welfare is also what you need to know right there. Environmentalists alarmed over Ugandan's annual forest cover lost is what you need to know. Then abandon hatred against Museveni, says Prime Minister Nabanja, that please abandon hatred against Museveni. And that is what Prime Minister Nabanja is telling people to really abandon hatred against Museveni. Then private teachers, the petition leader of opposition, over 20 billion COVID relief fund. You can really also join these, private teachers to ask for this money. The 20 billion President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni really promised us a COVID relief fund. Where has the money gone? Who is the custodian of this money currently as we do talk, because this money was supposed to provide relief for the private school teachers. And so what has happened to that money? Who is keeping this money? And is the money there as we talk right now? And if it is there, where exactly? And how can the private teachers be able to benefit from this particular money? And so the leader of opposition has been really petitioned by the private teachers already. Let's go for a break, and when we come back, we still have more for you this morning in the program, the KOKOLIRIKO Live. My name is Denis Oringi. We are going up to the hour of 9 a.m. right here on Westnile Television. Let's go for a break, and when we come back, we still have more in the world of the dailies. We shall be looking at the New Vision. What are some of the stories that have been captured in the New Vision before you get the paper with you today?
Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
Get more for less on Star Times this Easter season. Cartoon channel for best children entertainment. New global series. Local drama on Makula TV and football all around the world. Simply make weekly or monthly subscription and enjoy upgrade to the next bouquet. For classic or super bouquet customers, subscribe for a month and enjoy 5 days extra. Family time with Star Times. Star Times is regulated by UCC. Get more for less on Star Times this Easter season. Cartoon channel for best children entertainment. New global series. Local drama on Makula TV and football all around the world. Simply make weekly or monthly subscription and enjoy upgrade to the next bouquet. For classic or super bouquet customers, subscribe for a month and enjoy 5 days extra. Family time with Star Times. Star Times is regulated by UCC.
Ooh. Look. The thing goes. Grab an ice-cold bottle of Pepsi Max today and drink to your bold lifestyle. Enjoy maximum taste with no sugar. Now available at a shop near you. Maximum taste, no sugar.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
19 minutes to the top of the hour of 9 a.m. right here on Westnile Television. My name is Denis Oringi. Let's dive to the new vision and see what we have in the new vision this morning. All right, dear viewer, you have to know that Uganda eyes a final investment decision for oil refinery by year's end is what you need to know. That Masaba says the plan is to have the commercialization of Uganda's crude oil into 2 phases, with the East African crude oil pipeline and oil refinery right there for you. And so let's wait. By 2025, according to government of the Republic of Uganda, Ugandans will begin enjoying the oil that will be extracted together with the gas. But do not forget that East African crude oil pipeline is being extended up to Tanzania, where the oil will be, exported, to other countries. And so that's what you need to know right there. All right, I'm interested in this story. Lord Resistance Army War victims demand a seat in Parliament. Jumalembe padui pa konyin usendo gimietunia ya juyerja wangi odi moko chimingo mu Uganda. And so they say we are being sidelined from benefiting from government programs, yet we have children and family to look after just like other citizens. This is according to Lalam. And so victims of the Lord Resistance Army War in northern Uganda want the opportunity to have a representative in Parliament tasked with advocating for their causes. And so the victims say their plight is ignored by society and there is no one is articulating their issues in Parliament. Everybody seems to be silent, including even the members of Parliament from Asholi sub-region. And so they need a person representing LRA victims at Parliament of the Republic of Uganda. Will this proposal be brought by Parliament or Electoral Commission or the Cabinet? Let's wait and see whether this will really go through. And quoting her verbatim, she says, we want our representative in Parliament who can talk on our behalf, because ever since we came back home from captivity, there is nobody who talks about our plight, said Stella Angel Lalam, a former abductee and director of War Victims and Children Networking in Uganda, a community-based organization working to support war victims right there. Lalam said they are rejected and neglected, and that nobody has ever come up to help or even associate with them. And so Lalam explained that if they have their representatives in Parliament, the person can easily push for interventions to address their plight. And she also requested the government to compensate them because their lives were ruined as they were abducted when they were young children. And so Lalam said they lost so many opportunities, including education, and now being stigmatized in the community and facing rejection from family members. And so she added that they have 1,220 homeless children that were born in captivity, and that their mothers are left with the responsibility of feeding, clothing, and even paying school fees as they don't know their fathers. Lalam requested activities to mark International Day for the Elimination of Sexual Violence in Conflicts at Kaunda Ground in Gulu City on Monday, yesterday. And so the celebration was organized by the Foundation for Justice Development Initiative and other non-governmental organizations like FIDE Uganda and Action Aid, among others, under the theme Bridging the Gender Digital Divide to Prevent, Address, and Respond to Conflict-Related Sexual Violence. Evelyn Amwen Alobo, a former abductee and the director of Women Advocacy Network, a community-based organization working to support war victims, said they need support because many of the victims are disabled as a result of the war. And so Amwen said many of their child mothers need support to raise the children they had while in captivity, since they do not know the children's fathers. She advised women to be submissive to their husbands for peace to prevail in their homes, and also to avoid doing things without the consent and knowledge of their husbands. And so these are some of the advice that we need to really take seriously right there for you. And so Kasese attack, police say 20 collaborators arrested is what you need to know in regards to the Kasese attack. 20 collaborators have been arrested according to police. And so police said Monday that 20 people had been arrested for suspected collaboration with the notorious militia group blamed for last week's that is attack that happened that is in Kasese. And so Police spokesperson Fred Enanga said the school's head teacher and the director are in detention, and an attack on innocent children is barbaric, is inhuman, and constitutes crimes against humanity. And that's according to Enanga. The youngsters were hacked with machetes, shot and burned to death in their dormitories in horrific killings that left down global condemnation. As a country, we continue to stand by each other in the fight against terrorism, no matter how heinous the attack or how brutal or inhumane the methods used. The ADF will not be able to succeed in demolishing the solidarity of Ugandans in the fight against terrorism and extremism. Grief-stricken Ugandans were on Monday burying more victims, while other families were still desperately hunting for news of their loved ones or facing an agonizing wait for DNA test on some of the students who were burnt beyond recognition. The authorities have said 15 people from the community, including 5 girls, were still missing, is what you need to know. Joseph Masike, guardians of one of the missing students, recounted arranging visit to the mortuaries and hospitals. We are not sure our children are among those abducted or burnt beyond recognition. We are distressed. Maybe the government will give us an answer soon, and we are praying, the 48-year-old businessman told AFP. It is a painful situation no parent would want to go through, but we are keeping hope that they are alive wherever they are. And cowardly terrorist action, Ugandan authorities are pursuing the silence who fled back towards the porous Democratic Republic of Congo border with their abductees. And so their action, the desperate, cowardly terrorist action, will not save them. President Yoweri Museveni said on Sunday in his first statement on the attack, hoping to hunt the militants into extinction, who Joe Walusimbi, the resident district commissioner of Kasese area where the school was located, said most of the identified victims were buried on Sunday, but that there were more funerals on Monday. And so we are almost complete with the burial of the dead already identified and waiting for the DNA test of those students who were burnt beyond recognition. It was the deadliest attacks in Uganda since twin bombings in Kampala in 2010 killed 76 people in a strike claimed by the Somalia-based Al-Shabaab group. The ADF, an armed group historically linked to predominantly Muslim Ugandan rebels opposed to Museveni, has been blamed for thousands of civilian deaths in the Democratic Republic of Congo since the 1990s. And so in a report due to be published this week, United Nations experts said the Islamic State group has provided financial support to the ADF since at least 2019. The IS describes the ADF as its regional affiliate, the Islamic State Central Africa Province. In March 2021, the United States placed the ADF on its list of terrorist groups affiliated with IS, is what you need to know right there. Let's go for a break, and when we come back, we shall be able to dive into what we have in the world of sports. Not forgetting that nominations are going on in Oyam North. So far, 4 people have been nominated for the by-election to replace the slain Charles Engola right there in Oyam North constituency. Let's go for a break, and when we come back, we'll be diving into what we have in the world of sport. Good morning, my name is Denis Oringi.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
Get more for less on Star Times this Easter season. Cartoon channel for best children entertainment. New global series. Local drama on Makula TV and football all around the world. Simply make weekly or monthly subscription and enjoy upgrade to the next bouquet. For classic or super bouquet customers, subscribe for a month and enjoy 5 days extra. Family time with Star Times. Star Times is regulated by UCC. Get more for less on Star Times this Easter season. Cartoon channel for best children entertainment. New global series. Local drama on Makula TV and football all around the world. Simply make weekly or monthly subscription and enjoy upgrade to the next bouquet. For classic or super bouquet customers, subscribe for a month and enjoy 5 days extra. Family time with Star Times. Star Times is regulated by UCC.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
All right, we'll be back. Thank you very much for joining us, dear viewer. Let's get to World of Sports this morning. You have to know the 9 minutes to the top of the hour, over 9 a.m. right on Westnile Television. A big one here, Bukayo Saka nets hat-trick as England demolished North Macedonia is what you need to know in the international games that are going on. And so the friendlies that are going on, but I have to tell you that Bukayo Saka nets a hat-trick as England demolished North Macedonia is what you need to know. All right, Bonamoto pointer, Andoni Iraola as that is the new manager is what you need to know, that Bonamot have appointed former Rayo Vallecano boss Antonio Iraola as their new head coach on a 2-year deal. And so the 40-year-old arrives at the Vitality Stadium just hours after Bonamot announced the shock sacking of the previous manager, that is Gary O'Neill, who led the club to Premier League survival last season. Iraola will now take over the Sherries following the expiration of their contract at Rayo. That is Vallecano, where he spent 3 years and led the club. That is to an 11th, place that finished in La Liga last season is what you need to know right there for you. And so, what other stories that you need to know this morning in regards to what is happening in England in the world of sports right there. But before that, you have to know that at the other time Algeria was able to humiliate Uganda. I do not understand what is happening with Uganda Crane. That game was really, I do not know whether the football pitch in Cameroon was too big for Uganda Cranes. I watched the game and I was not pleased with the way Ugandans really played right there in Cameroon. And so this is a very good tool for Uganda to advocate. Let us work on Nambole very fast. And we watch our own game. You know, when people give you morale and you're playing, there's a way that, the tactics just come. And so you have only some few Ugandans, around 50, who are really clapping their hands, shouting, but morale was not there. And so if that game was played here in Uganda, trust me, Ugandans would have won that game. And so I think Uganda Crane management, please, can you do something? The government of the Republic of Uganda, please work on that stadium very fast. Ugandans want to watch and participate in the games that are being played by Uganda Cranes. And so if their games were played in Cameroon, Ugandans were left with no option just to watch from the television. And Ugandans are very lazy watching their own playing using television. They want to participate physically. And so that's something that you need to know, that Uganda Crane is out of that particular league, is what you need to know. They were beaten badly. Marcus Rashford flows to agreeing new Manchester United contract is what you need to know. And then Kylian Mbappe breaks a France goal scoring record in Greece win. And then you have to know today Japan will be taking on Peru, and the game will play at that is 11:55 right 10:55 a.m. this morning, and this is what you need to know for the game that is coming up. And then Celtic reappoint Brenda Rogers as manager on 3-year deal is what you need to know right there for you, dear viewer. More of this will be discussed during the whistle time with Frodivo Owen together with the lady Susie, not forgetting Benson, as they will be doing analysis of what we have in the world of sports right there during the whistle time that comes away every Monday through a Saturday from the hour of 2 to 3 right on Westnile Television. My name is Denis Oringi. Thank you very much for being with me today, Tuesday, 20th of June, 2023. Happy World Refugee Day to the refugees that we do have right here in West Nile. Let us celebrate as refugees that there is a country that we call our second home, and that is Uganda. And let us continue supporting refugees and see how we can really coexist between the host community and the refugees. The coexistence is very important. All of us, we are human persons. We are just being divided by the political boundaries created by the leaders that we have in this world. And so we have to accept those political boundaries, and what we can really base on is that we are human beings, and so we need to love one another, and let us continue showing love for each other. I am out of here. Catch me again tomorrow for the same program, the KOKOLIRIKO Live on Westnile Television for the Wednesday edition, 21st of June 2023. My name is Denis Oringi. Follow me on my personal Twitter handle, that's Oringi Francis 11, Oringi Denis, and we have a conversation on what we have in our country, Uganda, and also what is happening in our society locally right here in West Nile, and also what is happening in northern region. And I will be able to give you some highlights and also dropping my tweets right there there. Let's continue having the conversation right there, and you can as well follow Westnile Television on Star Times channel 477 and also Zuko satellite channel 0073. Not forgetting YouTube and also Facebook right there, and also Twitter handle Westnile Television, Westnile Television, Westnile Television for all the social media platforms of Westnile Television. Let's continue with the conversation. For those who want to do business with us, just write to us using the contacts that are scrolling right on your screen, or you can just send for us a text message using the social media platforms that we do have, and then the management will be able to tap on those communications that you'll be able to send to us in regards to business. Good morning. Have the best of your time. I'm out.